Hello, Facebook Live. Oh my God, it's my first time. I'm Rebecca Williams, and I'm excited to be with you here today. Today we're going to talk about 5 easy steps to becoming a better copywriter. And maybe you're asking yourself, well, why do I need to become a better copywriter? I am a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a small business. Well, being a better copywriter is the essence of your marketing. It's the foundation of your marketing, because what you say and how you say it are going to get people to pay attention to you. They're going to get people to engage, and they're really going to make a difference in all your marketing efforts. So I encourage you to be a better copywriter to increase that power in your business. Swipe left to see who your viewers are. Okay, I'm just learning the basics of Facebook Live, so I can't see who's watching me, which is too bad, and I can't see comments. So I'm going to keep going, because if I try to figure this out, it's going to take me all day, and then you're going to be bored and you're going to tune out. So let's just get started. Oh, I see a like. That's good. Give me a heart too, just so I know that you're watching. Can I get a heart? Oh, awesome. Thank you. Great. So 5 easy steps to being a better copywriter. Again, it's the foundation of your marketing. It's what you say and it's how you say it. It's getting people to engage, right? That's what you want them to do. Marketing is like a party. That's what I always say. And if you want people to come to your party, you have to have some enticing words to get them to come, right? They're not going to come to your party if you're like, oh, I don't know, I guess I'm having a party, right? You need to be direct, you need to be powerful, and you need to be creative to get their attention. So that is all about, hi Renee, oh good, I'm finally starting to see who's popping on, that's awesome. So 5 easy steps to being a better copywriter. So let's just get started. What are these 5 easy steps? How can you be a better copywriter so you can grow your business with a clear message, getting people to engage? Hi, Renee. All right. So the first step, I'll go through all 5 of them and then we'll just knock them out. I'll explain them one by one. So the first step to being a better copywriter is knowing your audience and knowing your goal before you write anything, right? So before you write anything, who is your audience? I want you to know them like they are yourself. I want you to know them like the back of your dad. Oh, hi Dad. How cute. My dad's watching. Thanks, Dad. So I want you to know who you're writing to like they are your best friend and you're sitting down to have a chat with them, like a real one-on-one. Your conversation with these people when you're writing, not just when you're, making a video or whatever, it needs to feel like a direct conversation. So you need to know, what are they struggling with, right? What is their pain? That is the biggest thing that you need to understand. What do they want? More than anything, what do they want? I know that my clients, their biggest struggle is really being clear with what they're offering in their marketing. And what they really want is they want to grow their business. So I am constantly talking about how you can be clear and how you can grow your business. Hey, Keisha, how are you? And so, yeah, knowing your audience, speaking to their struggles, their pain, what they want is number 1. And again, in that number 1 is really knowing your goal for whatever you're writing and really speaking to that. Thanks for all the hearts, you guys. I love it. So what's your goal? In anything that you're doing, you're not just, and I hate this more than anything, some people tell me, my clients tell me all the time, oh, well, I'm just going to write an email and let people know what I'm up to. Well, let's be brutally honest with ourselves for a minute. Nobody really just wants to know what you're up to, right? They're not going to open an email just to see what you're up to. We've got busy, busy lives, and it's nothing personal, but people, they just want to know, what's in it for me. So I want you to be really clear when you're starting writing anything. What is in it for your client? What's in it for the person that you're writing to? If it's a group email, who is this one person that you're thinking about when you're writing? What are they struggling with, and how are you solving their problem, right? You don't want to write a vague email to 500, 1,000, 10,000 people, because then it falls flat and no one really gets anything out of it. And what a waste of everyone's time, right? Okay, so number one was know your audience and know your goal. And again, your goal is, are you asking them to buy something? That's okay. People expect you to do that. Right? Are you making some kind of offer for, maybe you're inviting them to an event or something like that. So it's either an ask or it's an offer. What's the call to action, right? If you don't have a call to action, then people are just going to kind of tune out, and they don't really understand why they're reading what they're reading, and they're going to go eat a burrito or something, you know? So really knowing your audience, and then being really clear on what your goal is for whatever you're writing, and just being direct about it. Don't beat around the bush. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is, and I touched on this a little bit already, but writing to one person only. So when I sit down and I write an email to my list, which is, you know, it's quite big, but I'm not thinking about all the people and all the different experiences that everyone's having. I'm not trying to reach all of those people. I have one person in mind, and I am really clear about what they need from me and how I can help them. Okay, so I even sometimes I will put a picture of someone on my computer desktop, and I'll pretend like I'm talking to them, because it's way more direct, and it's way more personable. And that's what people want to feel when they're reading something from you. They want to feel like it's to me, and it's not to 1,000, 10,000 people, right? Because I like the metaphor of it's like Muzak in an elevator, right? So, you know, and maybe a lot of you are too young to remember this, but there used to be what was called Muzak in elevators. And Muzak was basically this kind of like vague, like, what would you call it? It was like effort, like feelingless music. I don't know how else to describe it. But basically someone had the idea of, oh, we need to put music in elevators, but then they didn't want to offend anyone, so they like mixed all these different genres together, and then it just sounded like crap. So don't write like that, right? Choose a genre. Are you rock and roll today? Who are you talking to? Are you smooth jazz? You know, it's up to you, but you got to choose something, or else you're speaking to no one. Okay, so that's point number two. Speak to one person. Have it really clear in your mind who you're speaking to at the time. Number three, okay. Hey, Melissa, yes, I'm explaining Muzak. Some people are really young. I am not really young, so I have a lot of experience that I have to explain sometimes to people. Anyway, number three is understanding and using hooks. And hooks, and actually, oh, I forgot one massive thing, and I'm just going to go back. Big fail. Being vulnerable here. So one of the things that is really important, and that was back in number one, knowing your audience and your goal, is you need to speak to the benefits over the features of what you're talking about, right? So for example, the benefits of what I do with my clients is I help them get clear so they can grow their businesses, right? The features of what I do is one-on-one support, copywriting, editing support, right? So I want to highlight what they're going to get out of that support over the support itself, right? Does that make sense? So benefits and results, this is basic marketing 101. You want to highlight the benefits over your features. So focus on the benefits more than your features, okay? What's in it for them? Just keep that in your mind. What's in it for them? Okay, so got off track for a little bit, but let's go to number three now. So we're understanding and using hooks. So who knows what a hook is? Melissa? Oh, it's backwards what you're reading? Well, I guess that's just technology for you. I'm going to have to figure that one out later, but that's okay. Yeah, benefits are key. Thanks, Renee. Good visual. Awesome. Okay, so who knows what a hook is when we're talking writing? Renee, Melissa, Keisha, who knows what a hook is? Anybody? A hook, like hooking a fish. Exactly, right? A hook is basically, it's an attention grabber, right? So a hook is anything that makes you pay attention. It grabs your attention, right? It's something that makes you want to read further, okay? Yeah, I know you know what a hook is, Melissa. So a hook has one of these 5 different qualities. So I want you to write these down because these, yeah, it's what gets you, exactly, Renee. One of these 5 qualities are what a hook is, and I'm going to explain how to use hooks in a second. But first of all, I want you to write these down. So hooks have mystery, and if you can't read it backwards, oh look, we can kind of see it like that. Ooh, and it's mysterious, isn't it? All right, so either mystery, it's unusual, right? It has detail. I'm hoping you can read those. I think you can. It's outrageous. And or it's curious. Okay? So a hook has one or more of all of these elements. So what were they again? They were mystery, some of the unusual. Good, I'm glad you can see them. Some kind of detail, something outrageous, or something that's curious, right? So if you are able to employ one or more of these 5 hooks, these tactics, people are going to pay attention more. Why? Because people are just kind of, they're comatose most of the time, let's be honest, okay? People are comatose and they're kind of just like reading and they're like skimming things and how is this important to me? What do I need to do? Do I want to pay attention anymore, right? So we need to shake them out of that comatose reading state by being really outrageous, like showing them a little cat when it makes no sense, right? What is that? Well, you're going to remember this cat because it just shook you out of your comatose state of watching me talk, okay? Oh, Heather Picard, you're saying you can't find it on my business page. Well, it is on my business page, Heather. So I don't know how to tell her to find me, but come find me. All right. So one of these 5 qualities, you can employ it in an email subject line. You can employ it in, yeah, cats are the key, Renee, I agree. You can apply it in the first sentence of a paragraph. You can employ it in the last sentence of a paragraph, right? So hooks are things that get people to keep reading, right? You want to shake them out of their comatose state. So I want to do a quick quiz with you guys, knowing that you now know these 5 keys. Oh, and I'm thinking this is going to be backwards. So I'm going to show it to you, but I'm going to read it to you. So let's see. All right. So this says, what's a better email subject line? Okay. Knowing that you want to have one or more of these hooks in your email subject line to get people to even open your email. So the first one says, hey, Heather, welcome. All right. The first one says, do this one thing and increase your revenue by 83%. Or is the second better? These stats don't lie. Mentored businesses increase their revenue by 83%. So, which one is a better hook, or which one has a hook? Remember, it's about mystery, it's unusual, detail, outrageous, or curious. So, is it number 1 or number 2? What do you think? Well, it's going to be number 1, right? Because number 1, there's mystery there because we don't know what the one thing is, right? Number 2, it gives it all away. It's already telling me what I have to do, so I don't need to read any more of this email. Keisha, it's actually number 1. Do you see why it's number 1? Because it says, do this one thing and increase your revenue by 83%. You don't know what that one thing is. Exactly. So there's mystery there. So I want to know, I'm feeling like, oh, wow. Okay. What's the mystery? I need to click into that email and find out what that one thing is so I can increase my revenue by 83%. Does that make sense? Let's do another one. I I love teaching. It's so fun. Okay, so second one, and I know, again, you probably can't read it. I'm going to read it for you. So number 1 says, why we use only Madagascar vanilla in our ice cream. Okay, and number 2 says, oh God, now it's hard for me to read it. I'm starting to lose my eyeballs. Why our vanilla ice cream is the best. Okay, so which one is a better email subject line? Why we use only Madagascar vanilla in our ice cream, or why our vanilla ice cream is the best? Which one has mystery, something unusual, detail, something outrageous, or something that makes you curious? 1 or 2? Renee says number 2, because it makes you curious. Does it really make you curious why our vanilla ice cream is the best? Are you really curious about that? Oh, number 2. Okay, so I need to teach better. So number 1, look at number 1. What is the detail? Hi, Martha. Yes, you're right. Number 1. Well, it's obvious now because I said number 2 was wrong. So why is number 1 better? Who can tell me which one of those 5 elements was there? Why was number 1 better? Is it mystery? Is it unusual? Is there some detail? Is it outrageous, or does it make you curious? Keisha, I had you at ice cream. Okay, Keisha, it's 11 a.m. I think you should wait a little longer for ice cream. But yes, it's number 1. So Melissa's asking, number 1, does it give the secret away? Well, it doesn't give the secret away because it's saying why, right? You're still saying, you know, why is it so good, right? Yeah, Martha McGinnis, exactly. What's so special about Madagascar vanilla? So Madagascar, it's detail, right? That's the detail, right? You're curious, like, what's Madagascar vanilla, right? And what the ice cream industry, Haagen-Dazs, doesn't tell you is that 97% of all vanilla comes from Madagascar. So it is nothing unusual, but this little bit of detail makes you curious, right? So it's a hook that's going to get you to read in and say, oh, Madagascar vanilla? Really? Right? It's kind of like, and again, I'm shaking you up from your comatose state. Keisha, you were excited about the ice cream, but I have a flask. I'm not going to tell you what's inside of it. But, I mean, check out the little detail on this flask. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a cool engraving there. So, oh, Keisha likes the flask. Awesome. So, you know, it's just like the little details that make something memorable, right? So remember that detail is really important in writing. If you can say what kind of vanilla it is, then say what kind of vanilla it is. People are going to be excited about that. Let's do one more. Okay, so which one? You're excited about the flask, Melissa. I know, it's Friday. That's why I brought it in. Okay, so which email subject line is better? So number 1, and by the way, video, is there Madagascar vanilla in the flask? No, there's not. There's something else. And maybe we should do a little contest after this to see what's inside. So this is subject line for an email. And if you didn't already know, when you have video in your emails and then you put it in the subject line letting people know, I should have looked into this right before I started, but I think it's something like there's a 38% higher rate of open when you put video in the subject line. So that's natural curiosity, right? Oh, there we go. Natural curiosity. People are super curious. Like, what's this video going to be about? They love it. So videos are really hot. So which one is a better subject line? Check out my presentation for International Women's Day, or why I took my clothes off for International Women's Day. Turn your paper 180 degrees. I know, Dad, but then you can't read it. I don't think you can read that, you see? So I'm going to have to figure this out next time. My bad. So which one is better? Check out my presentation for International Women's Day, or why I took my clothes off for International Women's Day. Which one is better, 1 or 2 for an email subject line? Which one is better? That's my dad. I know. My dad's watching. I'm a little nervous. You guys are great. Which one's better? Who's going to give me the answer? 1 or 2? Which one has mystery, something unusual, detail, something outrageous, or something curious? Yes, of course, Renee. Clothes off, right? I want to know, why did you take your clothes off, right? I mean, sex sells, of course, but it's not really sex. It's just taking your clothes off. So, you know, it's like first base or maybe second base. I don't know. But yeah, it's number 2. Do I want my dad to know? My dad knows all of this stuff, you guys. We're tight. So why I took my clothes off is a better choice because it's outrageous, right? It's something that it's going to shake people up. Like, what? She took her clothes off for International Women's Day? Why did she do that? So remember these 5 points when you are writing, these 5 hooks. They can be in your subject line. They can be at the beginning of a paragraph, the end of a paragraph, anywhere really. How are you going to get people to keep reading? Okay, that is your goal. How to get people to keep reading. How are you going to keep them interested? All right, so let's move on to point number 4. Point number 4 is probably the most important point, is edit. Hi, Mie. Oh, good to see you. Wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you. So number 4, edit. Edit again, and then edit again, right? So there was a famous copywriter, I've now forgotten his name, but he said famously, I don't have time to write a short letter, right? So writing, you think it takes you a long time to write something long, but actually it takes you a long time to write something really condensed and succinct. So I want you to take editing as an art form and a practice. And I agree, Melissa, spell check. Oh man, we have really lost the art of spelling because we're so addicted to our devices and they autocorrect for us. But check your spelling. I mean, how much does your trust go down with people when you misspell a word? And I'm on dictionary.com all day long because I don't want people to think that I don't know how to spell. And I mean, sometimes I don't, but I always check myself because I want that trust in my business. And trust is a huge thing in business. So edit again, spell check. So what are some points that you can do to really edit properly? Because just saying edit really, it's not quite enough. How can you, what are some tips, some checks that you can go through to make your editing really tight and work for you every time? So let's go through here. And autocorrect, yeah, I agree. Autocorrect is horrible. Oh my God, but it's so funny. I want them to do like a video show on autocorrect or something, like world's best autocorrect or something. Anyway, so for editing, and I would write these down, you guys, because really these are my checklists when I'm editing anything. Number 1 is write the way you speak, right? So you've written something and it's probably pretty long, and think about it. I mean, again, nobody has time these days, nobody reads, and that's why video is so hot. That's why probably you're watching this right now, because you could read an article about it, but why would you read an article when you could watch me and have interactions, you know? So write the way you speak. Once you've written something, go through, read it out loud, and if you trip over anything in your spoken words, then chances are it's a bit clunky or weird. So go in and fix that. Read it out loud again. If it doesn't roll off your tongue, it's probably not written well. It's probably not written in the way that people are going to engage with it easily, right? So number 1, write the way you speak. The second thing is eliminate unnecessary pronouns. So I'm going to give you an example of this because it's kind of hard to understand sometimes. All right. And again, I know that this is backward, but you're just going to have to bear with me. So, all right, this is a sentence fragment here, but it says, I know that you know. Okay. So tell me, what is the relative pronoun that I can take out? It doesn't have any purpose here. I can just take it out. I know that you know. What can I take out? Who knows this? I know we didn't study grammar as Americans, but you're all smart. So what word do we not need? I know that you know. What's the pronoun here? Oh, thank you, Martha. Awesome. Yeah, so we want to take away this word, that. I know you know, right? This word, that, has no purpose. It doesn't do anything. It's just extraneous, like you were saying, Melissa. It's just like clogging up the words. Yes, Keisha, you're right. So take it out. Go through and be ruthless. Like, does every word have a purpose, right? Every word needs to have a purpose. Take out words that don't have any function in the sentence. And it's beyond grammar too. It's also just, is the word actually doing a job for you? If it's just superfluous, then take it out. You don't need it. Brevity is the soul of wit, and brevity is the soul of good writing too. All right, so you're writing the way you speak, you're speaking out loud what you've written, you're eliminating unnecessary pronouns, and you're using direct speech. So the word you is critical, right? You're speaking to one person like we talked about before. So I am writing to you. Do you know blah, blah, blah? Have you ever felt blah, 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 right? I'm using you. I'm not using the vague people or the third person, right? I'm using you because when I'm writing, I'm talking to one person, okay? So you're using the word you. And then finally, what I want you to do is use detail language and not vague language, okay? Detail, not vague language. So we saw in the example a second ago, Madagascar vanilla, the detail is in Madagascar. Vague would be vanilla. Okay, and even vaguer than vanilla would be a flavor, right? So get detail, because what happens with your brain, whoever's reading what you've written, is that when there's a detail, like for example, I'm going to bring the flask out again, there's that little detail, right? That's what you're going to remember, because the mind is conditioned to like just process incredible amounts of information. But when there's a detail, that's when the mind goes dink, and it gets activated, and it says, oh, what's that? I need to pay attention. I think it's from kind of our primitive brain times when we had to pay attention to predators and things like that. So something unusual made us pay attention. So remember, use detail words and not vague words. It's part of storytelling, really, at the end of the day. Okay, finally, number 5, our 5th easy step for being a better copywriter is I want you to write like a graphic designer. Okay, now what do I mean when I say write like a graphic designer? I don't mean writing to graphic designers. I mean write as if you were a graphic designer. So I want you to think about what your writing looks like on the page, okay? So one thing we know is that when you have a big block of text, like a big paragraph, remember when we were in high school and college and we wrote essays and we had paragraphs that were like 10 sentences, 20 sentences long, and we were trying to, pretend that we were smarter than we were. I don't know, maybe you did that. I did that for sure. But nobody reads that anymore. Okay, especially not on social media, definitely not in email. If there's a paragraph that's that fat, people are gonna like go to the next fat line of like something by itself, right? So basically, that's what you want your emails and your social media to look like. There's text here, and then there's white space, right? Text, white space. Yes, white space is your friend. I agree, Melissa. And really, that helps people engage with what you're doing, because the way people read these days is they're skimming, right? They're not reading every word. They're just skimming for what's important. And when they're skimming, if you've written it like this, they're probably going to read everything you've written because they've had a chance, they've had a break in there, okay? So paragraphs, maximum 1 to 3 sentences. Maximum 1 to 3 sentences. You don't need to follow the rules of, high school and college writing of, you need a main idea and then you need supporting ideas. No, it doesn't work like that anymore. Just break it up so people will actually read it. Second point is use bold text. When something's important, make it bold, When something, when you want to emphasize a word, make it in caps, right? Of course, don't make the whole thing in caps because then you're shouting. You don't want to do that. But bold caps, sometimes bold caps, right? Use those tools, those visual tools, to help you convey your message and help people pay attention to what you want them to pay attention to. Remember, writing is all about communication, right? It's not about blah, 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 I'm going to share what I'm doing. No, as a business owner, you've got to figure out what do you want them to do and how are you going to get them to do that? And I mean, maybe you think it sounds manipulative, but I just think it's good communication, right? If I want people to come to a party, they need to know what the theme is. They need to know what they are going to wear, costume, right? What's the theme? Where is it? When is it happening? What time, right? And that's the way I want you to think about your marketing. It's a party. How are you going to get people to come to your party? It's all about communication. So don't be shy, right? Get out the little kitty and make them really excited about coming to your party. Get them to pay attention. At the end of the day, that's all we're doing in marketing, right? So what are the 5 steps again? Let's review, right? So step number 1 is know your audience and your goal, right? What's your call to action? Everything you write should have a call to action. This video will have a call to action at the end of it. I know cats are always a winner, aren't they, Renee? Number 2 is write to only one person, okay? Only one person, not your whole list of 10,000 or whatever it may be, but just one person. Have a direct conversation, okay? Number 3 is understand and use hooks. And what are the 5 elements of a good hook? Who can remember one of them? What are the 5 elements of a good hook? So you want either one or several of these elements. Who can remember? Who can remember? Yeah, writing to one person is important, super important. So the 5 elements of good hooks, backwards, just to create more mystery. Mystery, it's unusual. Yes, Renee. Curious, good, and detail, and something outrageous, right? So if you've got one or preferably more of those as hooks, then people are going to continue to read. It's just like, you know, if you're bored writing something, then they're going to be bored reading it. So keep that in mind, right? So that was number 3 is hooks. Number 4 is edit, 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 right? It takes a long time, and it's going to be better if you do it. So just challenge yourself to be a better editor, okay? And number 5 is write like a graphic designer, right? Give people a freaking break. Like, they just see so much shit out there these days that's like a wall of text that's that big. It kills me. Sometimes I want to respond to people on Facebook and say, shift return to create a new paragraph, right? Nobody wants to read that thing. So write like a graphic designer. Give people a break. Help them understand what you're trying to say. So those are the 5 easy steps for being a better copywriter. And I want you to employ them. I want you to really take it upon yourself to be a better copywriter and do it. You don't need to hire someone to do this for you. You can totally do it for yourself. As long as you're clear about what you're asking people to do and you're doing it in a way that's fresh, people are going to engage with you, I promise, okay? And if you are looking for more individualized attention on how you're putting your marketing out there, how you're saying what you say, what you're saying, as we know, these are the building blocks of your marketing, I'd be honored to help you with that. And I encourage you to sign up for a free consultation with me. It's a 30-minute free consultation. And we're going to find out more about your business, where you get hung up in your marketing and your messaging. And I'm going to help you on the call and see if it's a fit to do more work together. So I encourage you to do that. There's a link there right below the Facebook Live. Just click on it to get on my calendar. The link will expire in 24 hours. So go ahead and get on there now. And I really, I'm so glad you joined me today. Renee, I'm glad you got great tips. I'm glad you took something out of it. Keisha, you're writing an email today. This is right on time. Awesome. I'm glad that I could support you. Here comes the CTA. I love working with Rebecca. If anyone here isn't working with her yet. Oh, thank you, Melissa. I love working with you too. And my dad wrote some incomprehensible stuff. He's using the element of curiosity and mystery. So he's the one who taught me all of this. Thanks, Dad. My dad's an opera director, and he taught me a lot about being on stage and presenting and keeping people's attention. That's key in the arts, and and, you know, just in the world, really. So thank you, Dad. I learned so much from you. And thank you, everyone, for showing up, and go out there and write some kick-ass copy, because the world's freaking boring and I want it to be more interesting. That is my personal goal in the world, is to make it more interesting and to have people be better communicators. So use these 5 tips, be a better communicator, grow your business, and I will see you next time. So thanks for tuning in. Bye, Heather. Good to see you guys. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Keisha. Thanks, Renee. Bye, Dad. All right, you guys, tuning out. Bye.